it was some point during this match that it dawned on me that the main event of the show was going to be the face-to-face with Toni Storm and Mercedes. And I thought, man, you know what? They really haven't pushed this enough. But at some point during the match, they did say we've taken our last commercial break and stay tuned because we're going to see the AEW Women's World Champion and the CEO. And so they did mention it. I thought they could have pushed it a little harder throughout the night, but better. I'll take it. And at least they didn't go to a commercial, like at the top of the hour and then come back for this. So I think that they probably will have retained their audience for this, which is what I was hoping, because this is a big, it's a big thing. I think that by the time we get here, and I've said this before, and I'm probably wrong, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of people wanting this match to main event All Out or All In.
Yes, and it's going to be the people with the agenda mostly, but yes.
Well, I mean, yes and no.
And there's nothing wrong with that either.
No, but I also say, like, I don't think you can honestly look at the storylines and say it feels like a bigger match than Moxley and Hangman.
No, it's not.
Yeah, like if it wasn't, like if it was any other match, like if it was just a random Jon Moxley title defense, then you could say, yeah, this could be the main event. But I can't see it being the main event.
And also, for my money, the wrong person's going to win this match.
You think it's going to be Tony?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. You might be right. I don't really know. Like, I'm not even sure what the right choice is. But
well, I mean, I said this on the pay-per-view post show, and I still mean it. They should have built this company around Mercedes. They really should have. She is that good in every match she does. She's great on media. She could be the breakout star. People know who she is from the other company, and I get that that's a knock for some people.
So you mean the whole company? You don't just mean the women's division?
I meant AEW, yes.
Okay, fair enough. Yep.
Because they haven't had a breakout star yet.
And I mean, your template is, honestly, it's almost like NXT, although this week is different and probably not anymore, but how they've been building around Stephanie Vaquer for the last 4 months.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you can build around a woman. You really can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah. And Mercedes is the one. I mean, if you build around timeless,
they built WWE around Becky for a short time. So yeah.
Yeah. The problem, if you build around timeless Tony, you're kind of telling people, okay, our company is a bit of a joke, but
yes, but it's also one of those things where,
and I don't mean in terms of quality. I just mean like,
no, I get that. Yeah. But yes, it's one of those things where you put that timeless character.
Yeah.
On a morning show or something like that, it becomes like Rick Rude on Kathy Lee and Regis or something like that. Or Macho Man on Arsenio. It becomes kind of like, all right, we all know. I mean, like the host is kind of like, why am I interviewing this idiot, instead of kind of taking it seriously,
or they play into the joke. You can do that too. Like I can see Fallon, starting to act like he's, like Monkowitz or whatever, and they're gonna go back and forth. Like, he'll play into the gimmick, but it's still like it's a gimmick. Whereas Mercedes has that real world sports star athlete persona that's her persona,
Yeah, so. but to the AEW faithful, to the tribalists,
mm-hmm.
She is not a WWE person. She is a person who was scorned by WWE, and I've been over that story because I knew Tony's writer,
mm-hmm.
and who was mistreated by that company, who is now she's an AEW person because this character is AEW. Mercedes is still WWE. And that's why they won't. That's why both the fan base nor Tony will have her win this match, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. But they did a promo, and I will say, Tony was, so Mercedes came out first. She talked about how much it meant to her to win the Owen, and she talked about Owen Hart. She talked about her idol Eddie, but they don't compare to me. And then that's why I'm the CEO. And then she gets cut off by Timeless Tony. She makes her way to the ring, sends Lucha to the back, and they went on. And Monet said the fans are sick of black and white. We want a champion full of color. Storm said she's waited very long 441 days. You came in on a show named after you. Since then, you won titles, you made history. You're still unbeaten, but you've never once looked at me or even spoken to me. And you claim to have been watching me since before you came here. You told Anthony Khan it's the one match you wanted to have. What took you so long? And Monet said, patience, darling, patience. It's not about you. It's about my legacy. I'm the Beyonce of professional wrestling. I'm the conversation, the blueprint, the revolution. And Tony says, yeah, well, I'm the Toni Storm of professional wrestling. That got a great pop. And you've never met anyone like me. And she says, yeah, that's right. You're not the tiny, shy, nervous girl I met 10 years ago. You're very different. But so am I. I'm no longer a boss. I'm a CEO. I've been the best of the world all over. I've been beating people, Japan, Mexico, right here in AEW, England. I'm bringing the AEW World title home. We're going to have the greatest women's match of all time.
That one, I just kind of went,
Yeah,
okay.
I wish it was more about the belt than having the best match. But, whatever. They can't help themselves.
Yeah, both you and I don't like those things, but continue.
Yeah. Tony mentioned we have a lot of similarities. We left certain success behind because we realized it wasn't enough. We followed our hearts to AEW, becoming exactly who we're meant to be, but there's one difference. You want all the titles.
By the way, more corporate fealty, but continue.
Yeah, well, it gets better. You want all the titles. I need only one. So this is like exactly what Hangman and
no,
and
I liked the difference in this though.
Okay,
it's you need all those titles. I just need this one title. I liked that kind of.
That's fair, yeah. And she says, I've lived, I've cried, I've bled, and I've even died for this. The fans chanted something there. I don't know what it was, but then eventually it just morphed into a Tony chant. Then she said, if you want to ride the money train through the Tony tunnel, I hope you can get deep enough. And then she had a line that I'm sure the internet is going to treat her very normally about. She says, not even your hips are deep enough for the money train. And people aren't going to like that line, but whatever. It was a good line. She said 45 days from now, we're going to meet in Texas, and somewhere in the world, a little girl with big dreams will be watching and say, holy shit, these bitches are crazy. And I'm thinking, that little girl's going to get grounded and she's never going to be able to watch AW again.
Where'd you learn that word? I'm watching wrestling, mommy.
Yeah, well, guess what? You're watching WWE now. She sincerely believes you're the greatest of all time, but unfortunately for you, Toni Storm happens to be timeless. And then Monet said, you might be timeless, but your time's coming to an end. It all in. She said, I'll see you there, darling. She offered her a handshake, and then Toni was going to accept it. Monet tried to pull her in. Storm smelled her, kissed her hand. Then Monet tried to hit her with a moneymaker. Storm avoided it, tried to hit a Storm Zero, and Monet bails. And she left her in the ring.
And then they had a dance off.
Yeah, a little bit. Monet did her dance, and Toni writhed around in the ring, and it was fine. People love it. It's fine.
Reminded me of the Jay Lethal Ric Flair thing. I was like, this is the thing I've ever seen. I was like, all right.
Yeah.